Today, I'm going to be showing you how to create this dynamic histogram in Power BI with no custom visual. This is a histogram showing distribution of students' scores in a particular academic year. This histogram is dynamic in the sense that I can select the bin size that I want. Currently, we have 5. I can increase this to 10. And the histogram adjusts for that particular bin size selected. This is very good to help the user to be able to understand the pattern more, as well as to see things that you were not able to see in the defaults. My name is Chiamaka. I'm a data analyst with over 6 years of experience in data analysis and data visualization. If you are into this channel, click the subscribe button and turn on the notification icon to get notified when I post new videos. The link to the dataset I'm going to be using for this video is going to be in the description below if you want to follow along. Let's get started. Simple data set, which shows the student ID and scores for a particular academic year. There are other things that you can visualize with a histogram. You can visualize employee salaries in order to understand how pay is spread across your workforce. You can also visualize your customer ages to identify the age group that make up the majority of your customer base. So these are things that you can use a histogram to visualize to see the distribution of that. So let's import this CSV file into Power BI. I'm going to open up Power BI. I'm going to import the CSV file, get data CSV. So I have the student scores. And I'll click on transform. We have the data here in Power Query. You can see that Power BI has already promoted. You can see that Power Query has already promoted header for us and change type. And the student ID in this case is going to be a text ID column. Replace current. Also, I want to highlight something here. Since it's a CSV file that we imported, if you look at the advanced editor side of things, you're going to see here that it says columns equal to 2, which is hard-coded. So imagine if you have a data set that is a CSV file that right now it is 2. If the number of columns increases, it's going to actually break this series if you are using it for your report, because this is currently hard-coded to 2. So you need to also make this dynamic. In order to do that, you can delete these aspects. So when the data is updated, even if the number of columns increases, it's not going to affect your process. I just want to point this out. This will really help you when you import CSV files, then close and apply. Now we've imported our data. When you look at it on the data view, you can actually see our data there. And when I sort this ascending, I want to know my mean and my max. When I sort ascending, I can see that my mean is actually 50 score. Then descending, I have 99 as my maximum. So this is going to help me to know the bin size that is okay for this particular data set. So my mean is 50, my max is 99. So the next thing I'm going to do is to create a table that is going to house my bin ranges. To do that, I'm going to click on Table Tools, New Table. I'm going to generate series. So I have generate series 50, which is my minimum in my data, then 100 because my maximum is 99. So let's just do 100. Then 5 means the increment for the number of steps in between in this case. So we have 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80 to 100. So this is going to represent my base start, and each one is going to be representing the lower boundary of the bin ranges. The table is actually bin start table. So this is going to be bin start, not bin size. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is to create a measure to count the number of students within a particular bin size. Because we are already making this dynamic, we don't want to hard code the score in this particular case. We want it to be a dynamic one such that when the user is selecting the bin size 5, 10, 15, or as the case may be, it is being calculated on the fly. So to do that, I'm going to be adding a measure to my number of students table, which is this students in a bin. So it's going to reference the selected value of our slicer, which is this part, then calculate the bin end. It's going to be the bin start plus the bin size value that we have in our bin size table. Then return a count row of all my student scores, where the student score is greater than or equal to the bin start, but less than the bin end. So that is what it's going to do. The count of number of students in the bin commits that. So let's now plot this to see how it looks. We're going to be using a cluster column chart for this. I'll click on cluster column chart, drag that to this point, then add my bin start to the x-axis, then my number of students in the bin to my y-axis. So we currently have this, but right now you can see that we cannot really tell the range for each of these individual columns. And also we need to clean this up proper. So the next thing that we're going to do is to create a label that will tell us the range of the individual columns. So to do that, I'm going to be using this particular measure. So I'll right click on this to add measure, new measure, paste that. So this is going to give us a label, and it's also going to reference the selected value in our slicer, still the bin end -1, or whatever is being calculated there by -1. Then if the student in a bin is greater than 0, concatenate this for me. If not, blank. Then click commit. In order for this label to show, in order for us to be able to add this, we need to add another measure, which is going to be like a bar for our label. So to do that, I'm going to right click on this, new measure, name this bar for bin label, which is just going to be equal to -5. -5 in the sense that I want it to be below here. And after 0, we are now into the negative. And I just want it to just be a small bar within here so I can be able to put my label on that. I'll click commit. Then I'm going to put the bar for bin label in the y-axis. So we have it this way. Next thing I'm going to do is to format this. Click on format bin. Scroll down. My y-axis, I'm going to turn off the values. Then where I have the columns, in this case, I want to expand the layout. Space between category, I want this to be 18. And space between series, I just want it to be at the end. Then I want to overlap this so that they will be close together. So you can see that they're together right now. The next thing is on my data label. Turn on my data label, expand it. So here I have the data label for students in bin. That one is on already. I want that one. But for the bar for my bin label, I'm going to now change the value to be the measure that I calculated, which is the bin label measure. Now you can see that we have, when I expand this, we now have the data range showing 50 to 54, 55 to 59, 60 to 64, then 65 to this. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to clean this proper. But you can see that we don't have this labeled. The reason we don't have this labeled is because of the fact that when you look at our bin start label, that's on my bin start table, you can see that we have 100 in here, 50 to 100. But within our data set, we don't have 100 in our data set in our score. We stopped at 99. So that is the reason that this particular one, we don't have any value on this. So in order to remove this, I can just filter this out here, where the student in a bin is greater than 0. Then click apply. So that has been filtered out. So the next thing I'm going to do is to change the color of this my bin bar for bin label. So to do that, I'm going to go over to where I have my column. This is the color bar for being label. I can change that to white so that it will match the visual and it's no longer visible. So we have this display. Next thing that we're going to do is to test if our dynamic bin size is working. So by default, it's defaulted to 5 bin range. So when I check that of 10 to know if it is working, you can see that it is still showing me 50 to 59, 55 to 64, and all of that. So this is not working. We need a filter that can help us in the sense that when a bin size is selected, it filters solely to that particular bin size selected. So to do that, I'm going to be using a measure, new measure. So we are going to be using this bin filter where the current bin is equal to the selected value of the bin size in our slicer. And if mode of the current bin, this actually means divide the current bin by the bin size. If the remainder is equal to 0, return 1. If the remainder is not equal to 0, return 0. This is going to help us to filter and be sure that the bin size selected is what is represented in the visual. So we're going to apply this commit. Let me remove this from here. So now I'm going to add this to the filter pane for this visual. So we already have the students in bin is greater than 0. Then this is the next filter that we need. So where this is equal to 1. Apply. So now you can see that it has filtered for the 10 bin size. So we now have 50 to 59, 60 to 69, and the likes. And if I click and change this to 5, it has defaulted to the 5 on as well, 50 to 54. So this is now a dynamic histogram that can help us to uncover patterns that we need. So if you want to also change to 15, because that is the sizes that we added, you can see 60 to 74, 75 to 89 are the likes of it. So that is how this works. You can now edit those visual properly. So you can go ahead to remove the legend. We don't need the legend. Then the y-axis title, we don't need the y-axis title because we have added data label. I mean, we don't need the y-axis values because we have added data label. So now I'm going to also turn up the title even, then the students in bin and all of that. So you can now go ahead to edit the title of the chart as well. So we have our histogram. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, and turn on notifications to get notified when I post new videos. Bye.